Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible. With special thanks to Nine Knives, Revenant, Alois, Anerdinwarpaint, Dragon Matrix 7, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, Kazorm, Lima, Nathan Welch Jr., Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, as we prepare for our first outing of Act 2. The Queen in her infinite wisdom has appointed us the Lord and Master of the Fifth Crusade, which is an interesting choice on her part, but we're certainly not complaining. That said, I figured we'd start small. We'll get to know Seelah a bit better, take care of her thing, and then we'll just start working our way up from there.
Hello. So, what do you reckon about everything that's come crashing down on us? All the responsibility, command, this new power?
Seelah looks anxious. She's honing her sword, but her movements seem nervous. The girl doesn't even notice you at first, but when she does, she smiles cheerlessly and stops what she's doing. Well, Seelah, no one ever really knows what's coming next, but you've got to roll with the punches and seize the opportunities as they present themselves. The way I see it, I've been training my whole life for this.
I envy your confidence. In a good way. It's great to believe that everything is going the way it should. I'm still frightened by what happened in the Grey Garrison. Were we really chosen? By Iomedae herself? You know, back when I was a snot-nosed kid who just started down the path to becoming a paladin, I imagined once or twice that I was going to do something heroic. The lights would shine down on me, the trumpets would sing, I'd hear the voice of the goddess, or at least her herald, you know? I'd be informed that I had been chosen for a great cause. But that's the point where my imagination always failed me. Somehow, it really happened. Without all the trumpets or the herald or even anyone explaining what I had to do. Though it's clear as day, my place is here, in this demon-ridden wound. Quite a lovely war going on, in fact. Endless, I hear. I'm gonna need some time to wrap my head around this. Spare me an hour and I'll crawl into some dark corner and whine about my hard lot. What can I tell you? I cry easily.
Well, now you're just trying to bum me out. Come on, Seelah, what happened to the cocksure and confident paladin I've been fighting alongside and sharing drinks with throughout the Battle of Canabris? Is she still in there somewhere? Look, maybe we just need to get to know each other a bit better. I'm sure I can help talk you through this. Obviously, you already know me. Vex Godglove, blessed by the gods, powerful and charming commander of the Fifth Crusade, and Kaz. But tell me about yourself. Tell me about Seelah. Of course. Ask anything. I'll answer honestly. Alright, well, let's start with the basics. Where are you from? I'm a little bit from Geb, a little bit from Katapash, but mostly from the Knights of Iomedae. I was accepted and began my training at 14. I belong to their ranks more than I belong to any other place. Aren't Geb and Katapash a ways off from Endev? A very long ways, yes. Seelah looks at you cheerfully. A traveler is expected to have amusing stories. Unfortunately, I only have 3 tales of any interest, and I'd like to save them for our next feast. Otherwise, I won't have anything to show for myself when it's time to start bragging. And that just won't do. Especially since I'll win the night with my cautionary tale of a battle with chupacabras. Chupacabras. I've had a few run-ins with those things before. Nasty buggers. They get stronger the more blood they drink, right? Oh, yes. Seelah's face grows serious. And they do it very quickly. They bite one victim, suck out their blood, and then strike their next victim, quick as lightning. But now you've tricked me, and I've started telling the tale. I may as well do it properly. Picture a small town in Qadira, and down in the dungeon there's two murderers waiting to be executed. The gallows are already built for them, the rope's been bought, but sometimes life takes a surprising turn. Suddenly, a paladin of Iomedae appears in the doorway and offers the murderers a deal. If they go with her to fight some monsters, they'll live. If they survive, that is. There's a big difference between imminent death and probable death with a glimmer of hope, wouldn't you say? So here we are, traveling through the desert, me and my friend, a priestess of Sarenrae, along with a little ratfolk fellow who'd asked for our help, and the two cutthroats. We get to the ratfolk village and see their bodies lying around, all drained dry. We figured we'd have to fight vampires. That's how the little ratfolk described the monsters who attacked their village. That's why we went in all brazen-like. The sun was high, and the vampires couldn't attack until dusk. But we never got a chance to look around. Black shadows, quick as the wind, attacked us from all sides. Not vampires, but chupacabras. One of the lads we pulled from the gallows got killed right away. The second one ran for his life. That left me, the ratfolk, and Kyra. That was the name of the priestess. And we all steeled ourselves for the fight of our lives. And just when we thought the end had come, with the chupacabras surrounding me like a pack of dogs around a bear, and our ratfolk friend wounded and down, and the teeth of the quickest of those blasted monsters was clenched on Kyra's shoulder, right then, when all hope was lost, the other lad from the gallows comes running back. He kills the beast attacking Kyra. I'm sure you know what a turning point in a fight looks like. Well, this was it. A moment before, we were lost, and a moment later, we had it back under control. The chupacabras dropped dead, one by one. The little ratfolk is reunited with his family, who were hiding in the basement. The priestess and I closed the eyes of that boy from the gallows who saved us. It was a shame he didn't survive the fight. May the gods keep his soul in its journey through the afterlife. Man, I just do not get that kid's decision to come back for you. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad you're alive, Seelah, but he could have been free and clear if he just walked away. If he was a fool, I like that sort of foolishness more than cold, merciless calculation. Had it not been for that mercy, Milos, that was his name, would be hanging from a noose, and me, Kyra, and all the ratfolk would be dead in that village. Someone told me that a kind deed done by an unkind person is 100 times more precious. By the same token, an evil done by a noble soul is 100 times more horrifying. That's what I really wanted to say. The chupacabras were just a good starting point. Interesting. Just to clarify, I approach that more from like a chaotic, selfish standpoint, not necessarily an evil one. The way I see it, Vex, while loyal to his friends, wouldn't necessarily see someone like Seelah as a friend in that situation, bailing him out of prison just to recruit him as cannon fodder for a suicide mission. That's a situation where I think he would happily bail at the first opportunity. So how'd you end up becoming a paladin? Gotta say, you really don't seem like the type. Seelah's gaze sharpens momentarily. Then she sighs. That's a serious question, and a good one. You should ask it of your companions. But it's a long story. To start with, 12 years ago, I was nothing like the person I am now. I roamed the streets of Solku with the other homeless orphans. I stole, I fought. I was a hired sword for a bit. Not the proper origin for a paladin, is it? Back then, Solku was a city of orphans, widows, and widowers. Gnolls decimated the city regularly. My parents were among their victims. People there heard about new deaths before they'd finished mourning their previous losses. One day, a group of knights of Iomedae brought a glimmer of hope to the city. But while others saw them as saviors and protectors, I was busy pricing up their noble horse and their gleaming mithril armor, wondering just how much one of their pretty swords would fetch. A thief lives one day at a time, that's what they say. I was the type that never thought past the next job. Anyhow, I was able to sneak into the knight's camp and steal one of their mithril helms. Seelah pauses, her voice sad and measured. And I was right there when a gnoll attacked the helm's owner. Asemi was her name, and dealt a blow to her unprotected head. A gnoll like all those others she'd fearlessly driven off from the gates of Solku. That one blow was fatal, but who really was to blame for her death? The gnoll attacker, or the young thief named Seelah? Well, that is a complicated question. There's a lot of moving parts there. How would Vex react to this? Look, Seelah, the gnoll is the one that killed her. You couldn't have possibly known that was going to happen when you stole the helmet. I couldn't, but I knew full well I was committing a crime, and I targeted someone who came to help my city in a time of trouble. There are times, Vex, when you can't hide behind "I didn't know." But you are asking what brought me into the ranks of Iomede's warriors. We all choose the Paladin's path for our own reasons. Some are guided by nobility of spirit, some by a desire to fight injustice. I became who I am through penance and a debt unpaid. The day Asemi died protecting my city, I wanted to kill myself for the terrible guilt I felt. But then I realized it wouldn't make the world any better, and I decided that instead I'd try to take her place. I'd become who she had been, and protect the innocents that she would no longer be able to protect. Well, Seelah, I can't say I would have done that in your place, but I can certainly respect your decision. And I can understand now why you qualify as being lawful, despite the way you act. So what's it like being a paladin? Seelah smiles. I'll tell you. I like to recite our code. It feels like I've said it 1,000 times, but it never gets old. There is a strength in these words. After a pause, she begins, her voice slow and meditative. I will learn the weight of my sword. Without my heart to guide it, it is worthless. My strength is not in my sword, but in my heart. If I lose my sword, I have lost a tool. If I betray my heart, I have died. I will have faith in the Inheritor. I will channel her strength through my body. I will shine in her legion, and I will not tarnish her glory through base actions. I am the first into battle, and the last to leave it. I will not be taken prisoner by my free will. I will not surrender those under my command. I will never abandon a companion, though I will honor sacrifice freely given. I will guard the honor of my fellows, both thought and deed, and I will have faith in them. When in doubt, I may force my enemies to surrender, but I am responsible for their lives. I will never refuse a challenge from an equal. I will give honor to worthy enemies, and contempt to the rest. I will suffer death before dishonor. I will be temperate in my actions and moderate in my behavior. I will strive to emulate Iomede's perfection. I feel like you may have pushed the envelope a bit on base actions, not to mention that time we may have cut down Halrin and all his guys, but, Iomede must not mind because you're clearly still a paladin. Well, thanks, Seelah. I feel like I know a whole lot more about you. I hope I didn't bore you. Ask me something else if you'd like. So you're really happy with this? Just fighting demons and serving Iomede? I mean, is there really nothing else that you aspire towards? Huh. How about covering myself in glory and becoming the hero of 100 ballads? Or at least a dozen, if they're lively ones. Seelah's eyes shine cheerfully. Anyway, to be more serious, the area around the World Wound is the best place for a paladin who wishes to defend the weak and serve good. Being part of the Crusade is reward enough for me. But there is something that worries me. I don't want to sound like I'm criticizing my brothers in arms, but the Eagle Watch and the other orders are focused on just one aim, the war against the World Wound. That's why they can sometimes overlook the smaller things. Ordinary misfortunes, you know? I always liked being a wandering knight because any moment I could get up and help a poor ratfolk whose family had been kidnapped, or an old woman whose favorite dog had gone missing. So here's my answer. I don't have some big, important goal, but I'll be happy to help those who need it. A little bit here and there. Hey, I can certainly respect that. Again, not necessarily Vex's thing, but he has been known to help people from time to time, when he thinks they actually deserve it. It is interesting, though. In looking at Seelah's backstory, you can really see the lawful elements of it, especially how she feels obligated to take Asemi's place. But at the same time, you can also really see how the chaotic side of her, you know, her love of carousing, her preference for being a wandering knight who can just help people whenever she wants to. She definitely walks a fine line between lawful and chaotic. Alright, let's go have a quick chat with her friends, and I think we're good to go. What did Seelah call us? The League of the Inspiring Cart? I wish we could set up an official nightly order with that name. Hey, I wholeheartedly endorse that. That sounds like an order that Vex could actually get behind. The knight is so absorbed in reading the letter that he takes no notice of you or anything around him. He smiles and seems like he's about to kiss the paper. Aw, that's cute. And how you get paper cuts. I wonder when I'll see a real battle. Everything so far has just been a warm-up. That's the spirit. With an attitude like that, what could possibly go wrong? That said, let's go see what could possibly go wrong. Adventure awaits. I think we're good with this lineup. And as you can see, for some reason, Lan is still sporting 1 point of wisdom damage from that throwdown with Minago. It just bumps him from 17 to 16, though, so it's not really a problem. I'll get it taken care of a bit later. And here we are, finally out on the world map. Only took us 24 episodes to get here. Though I suppose that does still put us ahead of Creed Ironfang. I think back in the beta series, he didn't get out here till episode 30 or so. We also now have access to the Crusade stuff, but we're not going to worry about that too much right now. We have a very minimal number of troops at the moment. Enough to get us past the first couple of tutorial armies, the level 1 armies. But not much farther than that. So, for now, we'll go ahead and get our army set up. We'll start recruiting new troops, we'll bring in a general. And that way, once we are ready to start pushing deeper into the World Wound, we'll be able to do so much more efficiently. As far as our first general goes, we do have some interesting options here, but unless they've completely changed the balance of the Crusade system, which is possible, it's been a while since I've played with this thing, you really can't go wrong with the caster generals. They've literally got unrivaled firepower in the form of Scorching Ray and Fireball and eventually negative energy channeling, which can sometimes just wipe entire enemy armies before you even start mixing it up in melee. Especially someone like Chief Agaboya here, who starts with extra points of spell power. Then we'll just burn through the rest of our resources, fill out our infantry, grab some archers for high priority targets. And I think we're good. I mean, that's still not much to work with, but that is a start. We'll keep stacking additional troops as more resources become available. Okay, let's hit the Houndheart camp. Oh. Day 2, month, Rova, year 4715. Magical anomalies are common in the world of Golarion, so common that the use of the word anomaly itself is questionable. A regular city dweller will encounter a chaotic manifestation of supernatural power at least once in their lifetime. One might naturally assume that the strange sky, the ghostly fire from rifts in the ground, the rain of eyeballs, all that the world wound is known for, should find some purchase in the mortal mind. but even the most worldly of travelers feel uneasy at its borders. Why? Perhaps instinctively they understand that this place is not merely a magical wasteland, but a wound, an ulcer, through which the world itself bleeds into the abyss. The commander and his army walk up the high bank of the West Salin River, where it draws near the border of the World Wound. The soldiers' feet halt, unbidden. On the other bank rises a series of cliffs, too regular in shape to have been formed by wind or water. The sky hangs over their sharp edges and sickening bends, the shade of mercury on the horizon rising to dirty rust. As it arches above the soldiers' heads, it regains its familiar azure hue. A whisper sweeps through the ranks, and soon turns into a grumble. The commander gives a signal to wait, and climbs to the highest point along the bank. There, he decides to look around. There is strange movement in the sky. Black clouds twist into funnels and turn a sickly yellow. The brooding storm is on this side of the river, ahead of the army. Avoiding the strange phenomenon will hardly be possible. The commander decides to address the soldiers and boost their morale. Ooh. The commander addresses the troops, reminding them of the importance of their mission, and that their greatest battles lie ahead. But the soldiers do not seem inspired. They knew what they were signing up for, but the psychic burdens of knowing the doom ahead, and of trusting a new, unfamiliar commander to lead them to it, are planes apart. The reluctant army continues on its way. Lines of soldiers step warily beneath the shroud of low, black clouds. It's like the World Wound has reached out a finger into the lands of Mendev. The gesture seems eerily harmless. But then the clouds come to life, shooting out howling tornadoes, one after another. The tornadoes come from all sides, from ahead, behind, and right above the soldiers' heads. Confused and disoriented, the soldiers run through the wall of deadly storms. One by one, the elements drag them away into the sky, or cast them down the cliffs and into the river. In the first half hour of the tornado attack, the army has already lost several people, and the wounded number in the dozens. The commander struggles to restore order for a time. It is their first encounter with a World Wound, and the army has already suffered losses beyond just soldiers. They have also been sapped of that nebulous yet potent essence that some call morale. Gathering their strength somehow, the army continues to move forward. It would seem the Fifth Crusade is off to a slightly rocky start. But, you know, we're a new commander, an adjustment period is to be expected. And that only cost us 10 points of morale, which actually isn't that bad. We should be able to recover that fairly easily once we knock down the first couple of tutorial armies. We also didn't lose any troops. I mean, I'm certainly not complaining, but there is a bit of a disconnect there. Alright, well, nothing to really worry about. Let's push on. Oh, yeah, see. We're already recovering morale. At 2 points a day, we'll be right back where we started by the time we're ready to actually start marching. This camp was set up by the Houndhearts, a small order of only a dozen crusaders. Soon the merciless rain and wind will erase all traces of the site. But for now, they're still visible. Okay, first things first. I figure we're headed right back to camp after this, at which point we'll be resting. So let's go ahead and lay down a fairly comprehensive set of buffs.
Together we stand.
No, don't force dismount, please. Oh, good. You actually got back on. Thank you. We're finally here. Alan and Curl must be around here somewhere. And Jana, too, if they gave her permission to leave. Oh, there they are. Greetings, Seelah, and greetings to you, Knight Commander. Sir Alan puts his hands behind his back and bows slightly. Then he casts an inquisitive glance at you. He seems less friendly than he was the day you met at the Defender's Heart. Jana puts her hands on her hips. She looks even more dashing than usual. Alan is feeling a little shy. He thought he asked for help from a couple of nobodies like us, but now you've turned into the saviors of Canabras, knights of the Fifth Crusade, marked by Iomede's blessing. And you still came to help him dig through a pile of junk. Seelah frowns a little. Let's not talk about it. I assure you, I'm the same Seelah, your friend from the League of the Card. And we came here to help you look for Alan's ring. By the way, where's Curl? He didn't come with us. He said an old wound was acting up. All right, my friends, since we're here, let's finish this mission quickly. I really don't feel comfortable bothering the Knight Commander with my personal problems. I'm glad we're here to help you, Alan. I hope everything works out perfectly for your wedding, too. I love weddings so much. They're full of joy and new beginnings. But I haven't been to any yet. Can I come? Of course, Lady Ember. Let's hope my bride doesn't run away from the bungler who managed to lose the ring he bought for her. So, Alan, what's this thing look like? Any idea where you might have lost it? The last time I saw the ring, it was with my things in my traveling chest. Now the camp's in total disarray. I don't know how we'll ever find it. The ring is made of a shiny silver metal with a deep blue-green jewel. You can't miss it. Master Derek is not just a jeweler, he's an artist. There's no mistaking one of his creations. A trinket worth several months' pay, Alan? The rules on the surface are insane. You should give your girl fried rats like we do. You'd save yourself a lot of trouble. Lan's not wrong. Giving a girl fried rats would get some fairly swift results. Alan, what's going on with you? You're acting weird. Is there a problem? The young knight is obviously embarrassed. I apologize. Jana is right. Much has changed since we met in Canabras. Some things for the better, some not at all. He stops short, apparently unwilling to elaborate. All right. Let's get to it then. Jana and I will look around the northern side. We'll see you when we find something. Or when we give up trying. Yeah, that's the spirit. I am, starting to wonder why we came out here.
The light hits you!
Thank you, Lan. But if possible, could I get you to not shoot it in the exploding gland? I do like to, collect the occasional pelt. Lan, you are killing me here, buddy. Here, let me show you how it's done. There, see? Now we get a pelt. Because we did not splatter it over a 10-foot radius. Can't actually attack that one. Strange. As for the deer hides, it's actually not that big a deal. They're not exactly high-value items. It's just more the principle. The Torn Flag of the Houndhearts, a small but noble order of crusaders. The ground is trampled, and there are signs of battle everywhere. The Houndhearts were clearly attacked by demons here. I feel like you could have taken a shorter path to get there, but sure. Oh, and there's our second relic. A melted shard of a ring. Which, of course, we're getting just after the storyteller has left our camp. That's fine. We'll have something to look forward to in, like, 30 episodes. A small quasit creature emerges from the chest. It looks at you angrily, screwing up its ugly little face. It is holding a shiny object in its paws. A sparkling silver ring with a large blue-green jewel. It's mine! Mine! Elan, look! Look at that creepy thing! What's it holding? I've seen one of those before. These small demons like to tease and bully, but it'll bolt if it senses any real threat. Let's surround it and attack all together before it can figure out what's happening. Yeah, and that's why you don't announce your plans in front of an enemy who can understand you. Mine! The quasit throws its paws in the air and splashes you with beams of color. You hear insolent giggling. The demon is jumping up and down, throwing the ring into the air and catching it. Mine! Mine! Elan, Janna! Seelah glances at her friends, then turns to you. They're all right. They'll come around soon. Quickly, Vex, let's catch the little rascal before he runs off with the ring. You all right? Quickly, follow the wretch. He can't have gone far. Mine! The ring is mine! You can't catch me, silly, weak halfling! Come and get me! You're too slow! It's fun to play! Give me the ring, you scoundrel! Before Elan can manage to get to the quasit, the halfling Curl appears right next to it, quite out of nowhere. He snatches the ring from the demon's paws. You mustn't get it! Curl, what are you... Thrusting herself between Elan and Curl, Seelah barely manages to absorb the blow aimed at the halfling. Elan, stop! Have you gone mad? He's using a summoning spell. Why did you stop?
Yet another obstacle.
Some lovely prey has just stepped into my trap. No! Elan! Seelah, help! Damn it, I didn't sign up for this! Get ready. We're on our own now. Yeah, this isn't great. I did notice these guys didn't show up until after Curl had already left, though. That doesn't really imply a summoning spell. I see we also got Force dismounted again. That's not ideal. But we'll just roll with it. Oh, Elan, nice. That is a solid opening shot. Huh. For some reason I was really thinking Vex had a much lower base AC. That's actually not bad.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
Nice. Sealand, I don't mind if you blow these guys up. Let's focus left. I think the paladins can hold the right. Oh, but just in case.
The Inheritor, guide my blade.
For the teamwork feats. Okay, okay. I think we're actually in pretty good shape here. Oh, you know what? I don't think I activated the Covenant. I think that has to be done manually. But to be fair, we're doing just fine without it. Case in point. Goodness. All right, well, we've already got this, but might as well hedge our bets. I think we will keep the Covenant on Vex, because otherwise I'm never going to remember to actually turn that thing on. Oh, good. That's not super creepy.
Can't you just die already?
Elan, what were you doing? You nearly cut down Curl, without a second thought, without a trial, without even knowing if he was responsible for all this. He might be a victim himself. What am I doing? He lured us into a trap. Curl was the only one who knew where we were going. He knew we thought there wouldn't be anyone at the camp, besides some small harmless demons, so he set a trap. I wouldn't be surprised if his demon masters had him targeting the commander from the start. Talk about believing in the redemption of scoundrels. Elan scoffs. Easy now. We barely know anything about what happened. Curl is a good lad. He's not a spy or murderer. Maybe they threatened him, tricked him, or even bewitched him with demon magic. And now we'll never know because you let him escape. As opposed to what we would have learned from half a corpse? Elan, man, I am all for solving problems with violence, but I feel like you might not be thinking this all the way through. Better to let a thief escape than cut down an innocent. Yeah, I mean, I don't really disagree with Seelah here. That aside, I'm not really convinced that Curl was behind the ambush. It is peculiar that he popped out of nowhere to steal the ring, especially after lying about an old wound acting up as an excuse to not accompany the group. But he cast 2 spells, one with no obvious effect, and then a second one, which was probably Dimension Door or Teleportation. And then the demons showed up, and they announced their arrival as if they had set the ambush. That's not how I think a summon would react. There's obviously something going on, and I do get Elan's anger. I don't think we'll take either side. We'll go middle of the road for now. What's done is done. No point in fighting over it after the fact. We'll just deal with whatever comes next. We're lucky no one died in today's little brawl. But who knows where Seelah's naivety will one day lead you? Do you hear me, sister? You're not just another knight. Whatever you do may have terrible consequences. You clearly have something to say. Go ahead then. Spit it out. Seelah, I didn't want to say this, but I think of you as my friend, so I'm going to warn you. After what happened at the Grey Garrison, you're in serious danger. And maybe not just you. You might like to ignore military hierarchy and the rules of knightly orders, but there's wisdom in them that has stood the test of time. A soldier rises from a private to an officer. A knight begins as a squire. Even Iomede's paladins gain their abilities gradually. But not with you in the commander. You were granted incredible powers, far surpassing seasoned paladins, with experience and skill far beyond your years. You received this gift at just the right moment, and saved a lot of lives across Mendev. That's a great deed that will be remembered for ages to come. But what happened next was wrong. They began to worship you. The Queen gave you such vast power, all while you sidestepped everything. Training, experience, hardship. This is not the first time Her Majesty has behaved rashly. And how much good has this brought Mendev? I'm frightened by what I see. Especially by the way that you, Seelah, trust people so easily and leap into adventures without looking. One day you'll lower your sword when you should have driven the blade home, just like thousands of bright-eyed youngsters will after you. Elan pauses, as if reluctant to continue, then looks you in the eye. I wanted to tell you the same thing, Commander. Well, Elan, so if I'm hearing you right, you're saying that I am basically just a foolish and impetuous adventurer who somehow bumbled his way into a position and into power that he has no right possessing. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I am just impressed that you're bold enough to say this to my face. Elan looks right at you with his clear blue eyes. Bear me no grudge, Commander. I am not so ungrateful as to forget what you did for Canabris, and how you agreed to help me. I said it to Seelah, and I'll say it again. This wasn't a reproach, but a warning. The power you've been given, it may be your undoing, and the undoing of all the Crusaders along with you. In any case, forgive me for wasting your time and subjecting you to danger here. Now at least we know that Curl is a traitor, and Janna is a coward ready to abandon her friends when the going gets rough. I hope we'll all learn a lesson from these mistakes. As for that blasted ring, to hell with it. Kiana won't love me solely for the gifts I bring her. Elan makes no attempt to conceal his disappointment. Nodding goodbye, he lowers his head and walks away. Seelah watches as he leaves. Her expressive eyes are filled with sadness. Everything's become very complicated all of a sudden. Please, Vex, let's go back. And I'd like to talk to you about it. Later. I have a lot to think about. Ah, Seelah. Well, we'll head back once we clear the rest of the camp. I would like to follow up with her before we actually hit the pause button. Oh, right, let's remount.
We will win this war.
Divine Protector. +2 Mithril Heavy Shield, which also grants DR5 magic. Nice. That's actually even better than the +2 Mithril Shield we found back in Canabris. This is pretty much exactly why you should still keep the companions around even if you don't plan on using them, because there's a lot of solid gear hidden in their special companion quests. Very nice. The tent has been cut open from the inside. The knights apparently left it in a hurry. The Hat of Heartening Song. The famed bard Jasus Elva Snip was known for many things. His sky blue eyes, his bombastic and scandalous fashion sense, his skill at the cards table, or his loyal hound, Clipper. But beyond all these, he was known for his healing songs. When he sang, his voice would carry higher even than his tall, spectacular hairdo, and in its notes would carry magic that could mend and bind and comfort those he found. In his travels from town to town, many came to know his strange and theatrical ways. But many more came to know his voice, with every tender note bringing help to those in need, whose paths crossed, whose wounds were in need of healing, and whose life in need of song. And when he departed, they would watch him walk into the horizon. The last they would see was the cap that looked like roses upon his head, gleaming in the sunlight. Very intriguing. I'm pretty sure that's a backer item. I think there was a placeholder here in the last build for the beta, but I definitely don't remember all that descriptive text. The ability is interesting too, adding a healing component to Bardic Song, which sadly is completely useless to us since we don't actually have a bard. There actually were placeholders for a Bardic companion back in the alpha, but sadly they were cut before they made it to launch. This tent is different from the rest. There's a strong burnt smell around it, and a rustling sound coming from within. Well, this bears further investigation. Ah, I see. Yes, that does make sense.
Into the fray!
Oh my.
You won't survive me.
Ember? Hey, look at that. Wow, we really lucked out on this one.
Cover me, all right?
I almost feel bad for those guys. They sat there for goodness knows how long just waiting to ambush someone, then got cut down pretty much immediately after springing their trap. Alright, I think we're pretty much done here. Let's pop back over to camp, have a chat with Seelah, and I think we're at a good break point. Oh, where'd this come from? I feel like we did a pretty good sweep. You know what? I think this is the placeholder item they had in that chest where we found the quasit. I don't think we're supposed to actually get that, but I'll take it. And back we go. Oh yeah, and we definitely have to rest when we get back. The entire party just became fatigued. Oh, and the entire League of the Inspiring card is gone. Which I suppose makes sense. Seelah, how are you holding up? Seelah looks sad and pensive. It's good to see you. Get this. Janna, the one who ran away when we were attacked by demons, never went back to her unit. She was seen running toward Numeria. Looks like she deserted. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. Or not the only thing. Since our raid on the Houndheart's camp, I've had this sinking feeling that I made a mistake. Dragging you into this, I mean. I should have known that a raid along the edge of the World Wound wouldn't be so easy. But mostly, I was wrong about a lot of people. About Janna, who lost her nerve and abandoned her friends. About Curl. I knew he was a thief, but I really thought he'd turned over a new leaf and deserved a little compassion and trust. And Alon, I thought we were kindred spirits. Friends through thick and thin. But it looks like I was wrong about him, too. Seelah looks at you closely, waiting for your answer. Well, as much of a selfish and cantankerous bastard as Vex can be, I feel like this is one of those times where he'd step up to the plate and actually go out of his way to comfort a friend. Because at this point, I think that we would consider Seelah a friend. Even if we don't always see eye to eye on things, we have certainly been in each other's corner often enough. Come on, Seelah, you're being too hard on yourself. We still don't really know what happened out there, and you can't let one bad experience change the way you look at the entire world. Alan will come around, and if he doesn't, who needs him? I'm sure Jan will turn up too, one way or another. And Curl, we'll figure out what his deal was. If it turns out he's evil, we'll deal with it. It'll all work out. You'll see. Seelah's expression brightens. Thank you, my friend. I needed that support. She sighs. Thanks for listening to my grumbling, and for helping me get to the bottom of this. I'm not going to leave things as they stand. If I get a chance, I'll track down Janna and see if I can talk some sense into her, and find out why Curl did what he did. I can't stop thinking about what Alan told me in the end. I really have become more powerful than paladins who are far more experienced and selfless than me. There's something not right about it. A servant of Iomedae should gain their power through dedicated personal effort. It's the only way to make sure they'll use the power for good. Our journey so far, it's all wrong. And it seems I need to be 3 times as hard on myself now. Well, as with many things, I'm not sure Vex would necessarily agree with you, but at least you're feeling better. We'll take what victories we can get. Not to mention, of course, that is clearly not the end of that story. We will have a follow-up at some point. I'm just not sure exactly when that drops. I do look forward to further delving into that mystery. And as aforementioned, I think that brings us to a great stopping point. We got back out in the field. We started setting up our first army. We took care of the first leg of Seelah's personal quest line. Second leg, actually. So, yeah, we'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take care of some off-screen bookkeeping, sell off all that vendor trash we just picked up, and we will pick up here next time, as we set our sights on a second side quest, and continue knocking out the various other things we have to do around the camp, before we finally begin our march up the Salin River. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon. As always, Links are in the description.
I'm gonna need some time to wrap my head around this.